From Calvary Church of Santa Ana, this is the Calvary Life Podcast, the show where we share stories, laugh together, and have discussions about faith, life, and God with people from Calvary Church. Here are your hosts, Eric and Matt.
Welcome to the Calvary Life Podcast. This is Eric Wakeling here with
Matt Doan and the camera.
Yes, we are filming again, and hopefully this works. We did have some technical difficulties last week.
We were not censored.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, we were not censored, and that's why if you listened last week, the podcast abruptly ends.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's because there were some technical difficulties. We thought we might even lose the entire podcast.
Yeah, it was scary.
We did lose the entire video portion of the podcast, but that's because we didn't push record, I think, me and you.
It's not that we didn't lose it.
No, but we were on our own. We're on our own today, and I think we're going to be okay. I think we are in here. Ryan got it ready for us.
Yeah.
We pushed buttons, and by we, I mean me.
Yeah, I did nothing.
I come in here, just so you guys know, like we come in here, I do all the work, and Matt just lounges around looking at his phone. I don't know what he's doing the whole time, but he's just sitting around, and I'm like setting everything up, doing all the work. I do all the uploading.
It basically describes our working relationship. 26 years, brother. 25, actually.
25. So actually 25 for me is coming up in like 2 weeks.
We worked together for 25 years.
25 years.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So because I started June 1st, 2001. So 25 years ago, it'll be on June 1st, which is coming really soon. When did you start here at Calvary?
I started January 2000.
Yes. Okay. So like a year and a half before me. So see, you're a weathered veteran.
That year and a half really did a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you were already, obviously.
I mean, I was working at another church.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, it's kind of crazy, dude, how long we've worked together.
I know.
Amazing.
It is.
So, all right, we got some stuff to talk about today.
Yes.
We'll review some emails that didn't get read last week.
Yeah, we had a wonderful email that got cut off that we'll pick back up.
A couple, and we I'm sure we actually had some very humorous responses.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the counter and making sure everything's working right now.
Is it working?
Yeah, everything's
I see,
working
like,
good.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
See, Matt doesn't know what's going on. It's hard. I got to do everything. But then I also take all the blame if something goes wrong.
That's true.
But to be fair,
I sort of accused you of last week's not working.
And to be fair, I literally like push a button and then I just kind of don't do anything else. A button that Brian tells me to push. We're getting live text right now from Greg Angier,
Okay.
who is one of our emailers that got cut off.
One of the characters on this podcast.
Yeah, he says, are you going to address the issue at the start of the episode? Don't make us skip until the end this time. No, you have to wait. We will address emails when we normally address emails
Which is at the end.
Yes. And you can email us, podcast@calvarylife.org.
I would love to hear from somebody that's never emailed us.
Yeah, me too.
It'd be really nice.
We love the main character energy of a lot of our people.
Right. Keely, John,
Yes.
Greg.
Yeah, that's good.
Kevin, the brother-in-law.
Kevin, Dr. Ben.
Yes.
Those kind of people. But we'd love to bring it like a little bit wider.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean we don't appreciate you guys. We don't want you to feel like we don't appreciate you.
We love every one of our loyal
We used to,
emailers.
Matt and I, and this guy was just like a little harsh, so it's kind of funny, but we used to listen to this guy, Jim Rome, who's like a sports radio host. And he's just like kind of like ridiculous. He has a ridiculous shtick.
Yeah.
But his his callers, they were part of the show. Like they were actually, you would know some of them, like their names and who they are. And like, oh, it's that guy. He's gonna, he's gonna do whatever. So it's like Mike from Poway or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
So anyway, that's who some of those people are for us. You guys are like major characters in this
Have
story.
I told you that
podcast.
I went on a run a couple years ago of calling into Oakland A's radio?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know if you did on the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would call in regularly to their like talk show after the games.
Yeah. See, you got to be careful because the way you're saying it is as if that's like
It's
not cool or
no,
something.
It's super embarrassing.
But why? Because we like our callers.
Oh yeah. But this is like we're talking about like the church theology.
Yeah, or just funny jokes amongst. It is like a community. This podcast is a community. It's for the community.
Yes.
By the community.
Yes.
With the community.
Yeah. Exactly. That's our new tagline.
But like, were you mean?
No.
When you would call that?
I would just like talk about technical things about the game because they would do the call-in show after the game. So I'd be like, when this guy came in to pitch, I wish they would have done this rather than that. Or that was so cool how they did this. It was really weird.
I like that. I like especially if you said that was cool because it's like total Chris Farley. Like,
remember when you
remember when you hit the baseball like over the fence?
Well, I wasn't talking to the players. I was talking to this radio host in a studio in Dublin, California.
So you're saying, remember when they hit the baseball over the fence? Yeah. But you're getting way technical, huh? You're like, oh, remember when he went inside on that 2-2 count? You're like, whoa, I thought he should have gone outside on that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a dark couple of years.
I love it. Also, if you don't know, Matt has been a contributor, like an actual journalist for the A's, because he like wrote for some blog. Yeah. But you got to go in the press box, right?
I did.
So that means official.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the one that says it. You're official. Like, I agree. I'm not making fun of you. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I actually think it's really cool. And then so you did that, and you used to work for the Dodgers. So it's like all in the marketing department or interning.
Public relations.
I've asked this like 100 times.
Yeah, that's right.
Public relations department. So, okay, cool. So the public was relating to the team because of you. And
I actually heard somebody say just this last week, they're like, what's the key to longevity in ministry? Oh. And the person responding said, have a hobby.
Oh, yeah.
Have
there you
something
go.
outside of ministry that can just kind of like even be something you play with and play in and like just kind of takes your mind off some of the wonderful but also the responsibility of ministry. So for me, it's kind of been baseball over the last 20 plus years.
50
years, yeah. But I mean like in ministry. What's yours?
Okay,
running Ironmans, climbing up Kilimanjaro.
I was going to ask you what's yours because like I don't even really think, I don't believe you. I don't think you have one. You need a better one. Yours, what is it still baseball?
Well, I mean like what I've used as some of my outlets is like writing for the blog and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think we need to generate a new hobby for you.
Yeah, I'm a free agent when it comes to hobbies. I'm not golfing, frisbee golf, none of those. Pickleball.
No surfing, no pickleball.
No, nothing.
Do you think your hobby is doing what Marie tells you to do?
If Marie's listening to this, the answer is yes. No.
Because he never plays sports and does fun stuff with us, you guys, because he's not allowed to, I think.
That's not true. No. Okay, we'll work this out within the podcast.
I know this is totally bad.
So Jason Ashdown and Eric and Tim Nellis and a few other Robert Carter would always make me play pickleball on our day off, which is Friday.
Yeah, the day off. Yeah, interesting.
But that's like my standing date with my wife, Friday mornings.
I'm pretty sure we invited you on Saturdays too.
That's true. But then we had like kids' youth sports and
you guys. It was like I think there might have been 100 invites, and there was literally zero response.
And then I never got invited again.
No, yeah, you don't get to be on the list anymore if you go to.
Do you still play pickleball?
I haven't because I've had a bit of an issue with my knee.
Oh, tell us about that.
I'm actually going to the doctor on Thursday because I got to get it checked out from a doctor. I've got like physical therapist kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I think I actually heard it playing pickleball, so this is not a great ad for pickleball. But
like you felt something?
Yeah, I realized I don't do anything with lateral movement. Like side to side movement, like basketball. I cut basketball out of my life because I feel like I saw too many guys like blow their legs out in some way from basketball. And I just also not very good at basketball. But then pickleball was really fun. But I think I don't have an ability to sort of do something
stop real
halfway.
Quick.
And so I was going too hard side to side in some way for my knee, a bit like strength or whatever, at the ripe old age of 51. And so then, and then I was like hurting it running. And so it's like, because I realized everything I was doing, cycling, swimming, biking, hiking, like all these things I've been doing, even surfing, you don't really do that kind of stuff. Like I don't have to do that kind of side to side movement with my knee quick.
Or quick start, stop.
Quick start, stop, side to side. Yeah. So anyway, but I don't know. That's why I got to get it checked out. So
hope it's nothing.
I know, me too, but we'll see. I hope I always hope it's nothing, but I also like hope that there's something they can fix.
I think we all understand what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's nothing big.
Yeah.
But I would love if there's but I don't want to get cut on. But anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you think your new hobby should be? Do you want to climb Mount Everest?
Let's leave it to the people.
Oh, podcast@calvarylife.org.
Want the email.
What should Matt's new hobby be?
Collecting stamps.
Ooh, philately.
I've never heard that term in my life.
That's the sort of weird scientific name for stamp collecting. A philatelist.
How do you know that?
Because I am a philatelist.
Oh, you are. That's good. That's really good.
What? Knowing that word helped me one time in my life.
When?
So I went to
Scrabble.
we were in Paris. I know it should have been Scrabble. Makes sense. That would make sense.
Yeah.
But we're in Paris, and I actually saw this sign at this store in one of these covered walkway things, and it was in French, stamps or stamp collecting or whatever it is more like philately or whatever.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh, I wonder if they have stamps in there. Sorry, this is the dork. I think I have expressed my dorkiness and nerdiness, and I think this might have been the worst one. Don't you think?
You know what, podcast family, and you guys are invited into the intimate parts of our lives.
My grandpa collected stamps.
Yeah.
And so did my dad, and I got those passed down to
Do
me.
you think you have any worthwhile ones?
I know that there is a huge, and I have it in my garage right now.
Don't say where it is.
If a thief could find that in my garage, they deserve to have it. My garage is so bad right now.
I had coffee with the guy at the Ebel Club today.
Whoa, Ebel Club?
I'm sorry, across the Ebel Club at Hidden House.
Oh.
And, but this is part of the story.
Okay, sorry.
Side note too, this was kind of interesting. Speaking of hobbies, he had this giant Civil War book, 11 by 17 Civil War book on the coffee table when I showed up. And I was like, nice book. That thing's giant.
That's serious dad energy.
And then he gets a big smile.
Yeah.
He opens the Civil War giant book.
Yeah.
It's all the pages are cut out. That's where he puts his laptop. So when he's working at a coffee shop,
He can get up?
he can put the Civil War book down, and then he just goes to the bathroom or goes outside to make a phone call.
That's
no one's going to touch. He's all,
hilarious.
the only thing I'm worried about is a Civil War buff. That's
Yeah.
that's the one.
Some
book.
50-year-old man is going to steal it, on accident, because they're all excited about it. Ooh.
But I walked outside to my car. It's across from the Ebel Club, which is actually, if you don't know this fun fact, Calvary originated 1931 at the Ebel Club.
That's right.
Downtown Santa Ana, 6th and French. And I just read in the newspaper last week that the Ebel Club had their signs stolen. Someone in the middle of the night, there were these plaque signs.
Do you think it was John Sherman?
It didn't come to my mind that it was him, but
First thing I
maybe we
thought
should
of.
look in his garage. And so I ended up talking to the guy at the Ebel Club that runs it and was
Yeah.
like, hey, I've heard about this. This is so sad.
Yeah.
We started here at this place. Could we help? Is there anything we could do?
Nice.
And he's like, well, I think we're working with the city to replace them.
Okay.
But he took my phone number in case Calvary could maybe come alongside them, help them replace those plaques. They're
Interesting.
100,000.
Yeah,
They're like
exactly.
$500. But
How does the Ebel Club make money, you think? What does the Ebel Club do?
well, now they
Currently.
they rent out their
It's
space.
just a rented space?
Yeah. There's
Interesting.
a church that meets there on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's cool. Maybe that church could buy it.
Why was I bringing that up? It was something about, I think, when you said stolen, then it made me think of the Ebel Club and their signs getting stolen. Then I went on the Hidden House rant.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That was, boy, we are getting old.
This is a good episode so far.
is
I hope it doesn't freeze.
Our poor grandkids one day are going to be like, don't ask them any questions. It's going to go in 100 different directions.
All right. I don't want to talk about it in detail because I want to respect people's privacy, but
Yeah.
I did watch you officiate a memorial this weekend.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it mostly, because it's you were doing it, and you don't want to talk about yourself. But it was who's been a member of our church. Garrett Anderson passed away. Had a private memorial, and the private memorial service was here at Calvary that had 700 people or something. It was a lot of people, but it was a crazy amount of people. As you know, Matt Doan is also a baseball guy. he had this like combined thing of honoring this man and ministering to this family, and we all know their kids and love them especially, and like it was like both, because he was only 53 years old, so that sounds young to me now that I'm almost 52, but it is young, and so it was really tragic, and it was like also this like celebration of like just like this epic, amazing, incredible life on and off the field.
Right.
And there were like some people that all just remain nameless, but they're just sort of, you could imagine if you're like anywhere in that world, like very famous people were there from multiple sports.
Yeah.
And Matt was the one who like officiated the service and preached the gospel in this like amazing, both like meaningful, hilarious, baseball connected, but not so much that it was like too much, like it was the right amount, and it was in a way, because everybody was, it wasn't like, I mean, the kids and everybody was talking about baseball, like baseball is like this guy's life, right? And so I just want to like say publicly, and this is probably the only setting I could, of just like, I even said like to some friends, like this was like I know it's kind of crazy to say because we always say this, but it's maybe the best sermon I've ever heard you give, because like you contextualize the gospel to the people you're with. It was like the best evangelistic sermon, at least, you know what I mean? And it was like, anyway, it was just like amazing. And it was just such a crazy moment because there was just like so much happening with both these like people that we've always like respected and admired, and then like personal people that we know and care about, how they feel.
Right.
And so I don't know, like just kind of an interesting moment for you.
For sure.
I want to like, they're pretty private, so I don't want to like talk much more about that unless, but whatever you would know how much like you feel like you could share. But
it was, I hope this sounds okay, but I love pastoring funerals. And it's not because I love seeing people in pain. It's super hard. In fact, even absorbing a lot of that, there's like, even this week, I just need to get away a little bit and just process some of the things that we talked about and experienced with the family, just because it's heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I love about it is you get people into a room and you don't talk about the stuff that they owned.
Right.
Or at times even like some of the things that I think we all admire, but it really gets down to the heart of like, how did this person live? How do they treat people?
Yeah.
And then it just weaves itself right into talking about Jesus and heaven. And I just love that opportunity.
Yeah.
Anytime I get a chance. In fact, it's really hard for me to say no to a memorial, because I just like, I feel like I'm kind of wired in this way. And so,
I agree with that.
So that
for you,
that was it was a great privilege to speak to people, some that are Christians, and they were nodding and agreeing, and I could see too in the audience there were some that, they're potentially hearing the gospel afresh, and that's such a privilege to be able to do that. And it was fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it, almost like because of someone with like a level of fame, there's like a lot of people there that are from like such different, like, they're not just
Walks
like all people from here or something like that, And so that was like really cool. So anyway, that was well done to you.
Thank
and just
you.
continuing to pray for that family. And so cool to hear from a guy that like we've known for a long time, and it's like, and he's always been sort of a quieter guy, which is a part of his deal. But like to hear the way even the other sort of baseball players or people in that world, the way they talked about the way he lived his life, even on the field, both on and off the field, but like also on the field as a follower of Jesus. Like he lived his work as a follower of Jesus. He lived his fatherhood as a follower of Jesus. He lived his husbandhood. He lived, all those things. And I'm sure he wasn't perfect. Like we're not, all of us get a little sanctified in those moments, but yeah, it's just so awesome. But anyway, so well done. That was like a big part of your weekend. Beyond. I mean, I was just there, but you were probably there for several hours. Plus the day before, probably stuff too. So then, did your weekend have anything else going on?
Yeah, we went camping actually.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's right.
Tuesday night, and then through a couple days down Doheny. So we had this little window of time before Lily goes to Spain for the summer. So that was fun. We had an alpha course on Saturday night. I preached on Sunday.
I don't know how you preached, because you did this family vacation thing.
I know.
And you had this memorial.
It was like the grace of God. I am I may say anything today because I'm so tired.
I feel like I'm gonna have to be nicer to you now about the parts I I was gonna be mean about or whatever.
That's good. What about you?
Yeah, what did I do? Oh yeah, we I was like, what is my life? I mean, we were there at that was like a big part of the day. Even on Saturday was that memorial, and then we actually went to like Hermosa Beach area to have dinner with B's parents and sister and the brother-in-law, the famous brother-in-law, Kevin, for B's. B has a significant birthday this month.
Whoa!
So yeah, in a couple of weeks, B has her birthday that was similar to your recent birthday.
Just say it.
It's 50th. Yeah. I don't know if you're supposed to say like your wife's age on the air here, It's like, I don't know, man. No, but so this was, I like, remember how we talked about Marie has like, it's the
festival.
The festival. So her birthday, B's birthday is literally like not till May 30th. So this was like on May
This is the opening
16th
ceremony
or whatever, or 15th. We were doing like birthday celebrations. So it's definitely opening ceremonies. So we went up to, which I haven't been up to like Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach.
It's not a place I know at all.
I know. And so we were like right at the Hermosa Pier, this restaurant, which, it's called like Fox and Pharaoh. It's like a British vibe. It used to be called Best's, which was named after a guy named George Best, who was a Chelsea Football Club player.
Oh, I've heard of that.
That made he started this restaurant. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like a long time ago because he's old and gone guy. So anyway, we had dinner at this place. And like it is a scene down there. I don't know if you've because I hadn't really been down there. Hermosa Pier area, like it's like basically one of those places that's like lined with bars.
Okay.
But a lot of them had like live bands playing. So we just like ate at this restaurant. It was just normal. But walking around, there was like we could see like 4 different sort of like live bands playing. And so we were talking about cover bands earlier, but today. But yeah, like a lot of like cover bands and stuff.
So a lot of people down there on a weekend.
Just people everywhere. It was crazy.
Wow.
And so anyway, I was just like, I've never like come up here.
No.
But I think it's when you're like from the beach, why would you go to the beach like an hour away?
Yeah, it feels like a hard place to get to.
Yeah. Well, we also had to pick up Ella from LAX that night, so that was part of it.
Oh, wow.
She was getting back from a trip, but and then anyway, so Hermosa Beach is like right there.
Yeah, that
we
works.
like drove to LAX like along the coast from Hermosa Pier, and then
I've
like
never done that.
Went in that way. I never had done that either in all my aged years.
Right.
So anyway, that was just kind of
I've actually ridden. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I've ridden my bike. You actually can. There's a sidewalk on the beach.
Oh yeah,
near LAX that you can ride on, and the plane's kind of like John Wayne, like they fly right over you.
Yeah, it's cool.
So it must. The road's right there, I guess.
Dude, we were like walking. So after dinner, B and I had a little time to kill before we had to pick up Ella, and so we were just kind of like walking around. We went to go like walk on the pier, and we walk up this area, and then all of a sudden, down that path, which is kind of like that same path, come like 50 people on bikes that were covered in like Christmas lights or like flashing lights, and they all were like dragging like a trailer with a giant boombox, like a giant speaker in the little trailer, or they had speakers like attached to their bikes.
Yeah.
And so it was like this bike light parade, but with all blasting music out of them all, and it was all like different music, and it was just chaotic. And we were just kind of walking down the middle of this path, kind of like between this line of like bars on each side of us as we're heading out to the pier, and it's all loud and crazy. And these bikes came, and they all like started like circling around us.
What?
Like it felt like in a movie when you see like the horses like coming like a cowboy movie, and they like surround the people, but it was bikes, light up bikes instead of horses, and they like surround, and we're like, what is happening right now? Just kind of taking in the scene, and they like went all the way around us in this big circle, and then they just like kept going. And B and I just were looking at each other like, what on earth just happened? This place is crazy.
I may need to ask B if that's a real true story.
I promise. Yeah, you should ask her. Call her right now. Anyway, so that was one thing we did. I also went surfing on Friday, which I haven't been surfing in a long time. So that was kind of fun. Went surfing, and I went shortboarding. I haven't been shortboarding in a real long time.
Way to go. Was your knee okay on that?
Yeah, I could feel a little bit afterward. It was fine surfing. Yeah. So yeah, went surfing. That was fun. Good weekend. And then church on Sunday. Yeah. So let's change topics and get into
the Book of Acts.
I noticed that you say this. So do you say it again?
Acts.
No, the whole thing.
The Book of Acts.
Yeah. Do you guys hear that?
The Book of Acts.
It's not, he doesn't say of, he says the Book of Acts.
The Book of Acts.
Yeah. Do you hear that?
I did until right now.
The Book of Acts. It's so funny. I totally heard it on Sunday. And I don't know why it like stood out to me on Sunday. I totally heard it and then I just heard it again.
Great. All right, you just lost it. Never gonna happen again. Now I'm gonna be like the Book
of
Acts.
I know.
The Acts of the Apostles. That's what it says in the NLT.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear my first talk?
I liked it.
Okay. All right. So the Book of Acts, Acts 1, 12 to 26.
Yes.
We are, by the way, for our listener audience, we are having to do larger chunks in the Book of Acts because they tend to be like a single story, but then it's like really long. Mm-hmm. But also, we're sort of not used to it because we've been breaking down Luke so small.
I know. I'm glad you brought that up because I felt it in this one in a couple places.
Yeah.
Where I would have loved to have camped out a bit, but it's like there's a larger theme I was trying to get to.
Yeah. I think that we are having to while we're in Acts, especially the latter half. It's like the whole chapter is the story. But we have to like give up the sense that every single sentence is conveyed.
Yeah.
Or there could be parts that we don't necessarily focus in on.
Yeah.
And it's not because we're trying to avoid it.
Right.
But we're trying to not do another 3-year series on the one book of the Bible.
Well, and that's actually, it lends itself to, there's different genres of the Bible.
Yeah.
And so I love what Dan Kimball says. It's a library, not a book. So you go into different sections of the library and you read them in different ways. So the book of Acts, it's a narrative. Yeah. And so you're going to read it in a story way. Mm-hmm. Psalms is poetry. So you're going to say like, okay, there's going to be some analogies here. Mm-hmm. And then you get to like the book of Colossians.
Sorry, I didn't mean
and
to
it's an epistle, which actually is kind of meant to be parsed a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue it's a letter and it's like it's supposed to flow, but there is some sense that like, you slow down, and Paul chose particular words for a emphasis, where here in Acts, it's conveying a story form, and narrative's unfolding.
Because it gets weird if you break a story down into 3 talks on one story, because then you're like, well, this is weird. It's like the beginning of the story, but it's not resolving either.
You got to keep going back. Yeah.
And I'm realizing it for this Sunday, coming Sunday, and the Sunday after.
I know.
It's the Pentecost story, but broken into 2 parts. And I'm kind of like, oh, wait, I'm not talking this Sunday about the 3,000 getting saved. And so it's like, it is weird to not talk about the whole story. So it's kind of goes both ways.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can talk about whatever you want. You can talk about the 3,000.
And that's where I think we have to, though. I think that's where we're saying to everybody, and like even to ourselves, is like, I don't have to do every single thing.
Yeah.
And I can say, guess what? 3,000 people get saved.
Yeah.
And it's okay to go sort of both directions.
For sure.
But it'll get cumbersome if we try to do every single word. I think it would get like, ugh, you know. So anyway, all right. So you, though, even though you had a long text, decided to do some shout outs at the beginning.
Yes.
So you had some shout outs in a very Matt Doan fashion, which was fine. And then you talked about cake. I haven't said anything weird. I just said what you've done. I didn't say anything, but you know my tone, don't you?
100%. Worked with you for 25 years.
Yeah, you made it. I don't even remember. All I wrote was weird cake comparison. And then it started funny because it was all like funny things like this, because I'm so bad when I just want to, because especially it's bad when I'm sitting next to your wife.
And Samuel's next to
Samuel,
her. Yeah.
we a couple times, did you see us look at each other? We looked at each other with the dots thing. That was the next thing. With the what do you call those?
Yeah. So if you weren't here, I was talking about things we get annoyed to wait for.
Yes. Exactly.
And I talked about waiting in line at Costco, red lights, and then
good.
the dots of your text messages. Like you're like, "Hey, are you here?" And you just see the dot. Like, what is that? And I just riffed on what is that called? It's just the dots.
The dots. I mean, technically, that is called do you know?
Ellipses?
Yeah.
Okay. But I didn't know if it was like something technical in like the text world.
Frankly, I don't know. I would just call it the dots too. Because it feels lame to call it the ellipses or whatever. You're like, okay, nerd. You must be a philatelist.
I was just going to say that.
I had to beat you to it. But that was just a funny part. But all those things like make sense because I think you got us there into the sense of, yes, waiting is frustrating. Not a lot of us. And then you kind of like got into, which is like, I mean, the classic like preacher move, right? Like into heavier things that we're waiting for as well, right? So that was good.
Yeah, what really struck me, there's so many different ways you can take this passage. You know, the Matthias selection, the fact that there was 120, including the women and Jesus' brothers. You could do a whole message.
The Judas stuff.
Yeah, and then the Judas chunk that I really skipped over.
Yeah.
So it's like all these different places. I was really struck by, you have the ascension and then you have the day of Pentecost. The disciples didn't have the privilege of knowing. I mean, he said a few days from now, some days from now. But Jesus said so many things that they didn't understand.
That whole talk about soon.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. And so was that a year? Was it 5 years? What did it mean? And so it's just like they were waiting. There was a sense of like, okay, we're trusting God and we're just kind of hanging out here in Jerusalem. That's what he told us to do.
Yeah, that was really good. Sorry, my phone started ringing, and I thought maybe it might have been Greg Angier.
Was it some ellipses?
I know, they're looking up for my ellipses. Will you please respond to me? I do think the dots is good because it is like, will you respond? And I actually think in the heavy stuff, it is like, Lord, will you respond?
Oh, that's good.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's good if I do this again.
Because you like want a response, like you really do. And they wanted to get the promise, to get the gift, and they're just having to wait, and that's gnarly. That's really hard.
They list all these names here of the 11 disciples that are remaining, and then I just mentioned Mary, the mother of Jesus, and some other women, and then his brothers, and it says 120.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in your early Christian years understanding there was more than 12 disciples? Because I don't think I did.
I definitely, probably like as a kid, I mean, you just hear the 12 disciples, the 12 disciples, 12 disciples. I don't remember when it was the point, but you start hearing about the 70, the 120.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the 3, the
70, they're sent
12,
out.
the 70, the one, probably the 120 is talked about less than the 70 even, I think. Even if it was like because people use those numbers as like here's how like you should do your small groups or whatever, or like the way you should focus your ministry.
Right.
Jesus had the 3, the 12, the 70, kind of the crowds. Yeah. But they often skip the 120. So
how many do you think were added at the resurrection as witnesses of the resurrection? So obviously what the brothers were, because James says, he saw the resurrection, believed.
Well, he appeared to more than 500 at one time.
Right.
So it was like all those people plus the 500 at one time. It wasn't like saying 500.
Total.
It was just once there was all 500.
That's crazy.
So there's that definitely at least 550 or something, So there's a lot. Yeah. So that's interesting, huh? Okay. So then you kind of gave like a review of my sermon from last week.
Average person comes 1.5 times a month.
I was like, wait a minute, I feel like I've said all this already. But that was funny. No, that was good. And then, sorry, I'm so bad. I promise I have some good stuff to talk about too.
That's great.
But your baby's first steps imitation. He did this like baby's first steps, like you're waiting for your baby to take their first steps, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think that was a moment, like I have a lot of these moments, but I think it was a moment where you kind of wanted a little more reaction.
100%. There was actually a few in this message that just felt like just died.
Okay.
Like little lighthearted comments that just didn't really. And it's hard. Worship Center is a hard place to read your audience at times. And then sometimes you read them very accurately. And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, yeah, they didn't like
They
that.
didn't like that one. They didn't care about that one. But after that, you talked about the bummer of being the other Judas, which I thought was just like kind of a good little. That got a
I
good
thought that was
reaction.
gonna kill.
Yeah.
Oh, it did? I didn't think it did.
Well, I liked it.
All right, I appreciate it.
I like that one because I'm like, I agree.
Yeah.
That's a bummer to not
Yeah.
be like to be the other Judas. I think that would be like, yeah, I think that would be a bummer in your life.
Can you imagine like all of a sudden Eric Wakeling is a serial killer?
Yeah.
And like,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
just your name. You've had it your whole life, but all of a sudden it just changes meaning overnight.
And like whenever people are talking about like a bad person, they're like that Eric. Oh, he's just such an Eric Wakeling.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh no. Yeah, I'm Eric Wakeling. What am I going to do?
It's so true.
You're so bummed. But then it got good. Okay, not good. It was not good. But I just mean like you had this good moment.
Got in the
of
meat.
This little moment on. You had this little moment on losing the passion to meet together.
Yeah.
And you did. I actually think your charcoal thing was really good. I think that makes a lot of like that clicked in the way it makes sense.
Have you told that
No,
story
I've never
before?
told that before.
What?
I've never told the charcoal stays together.
Really?
And is warm. No. I obviously know that to be true, but I've never used that as an illustration. That's
like,
money.
Yeah, it's all. I've heard it a ton of times.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. Like that
funny.
struck me as fresh. So that shows you all these like cheesy illustrations that we think are like not cheesy, but like pastory illustrations.
Right.
Not everybody's heard them.
Yeah, good point.
So I don't know. Did you want to talk a little bit more about that at all?
Yeah, I was really burdened this week just thinking about the idea that the disciples stayed together as they waited. They didn't do this individually. They didn't go back to, I mean, God told them to wait in Jerusalem. Jesus told them to wait in Jerusalem. So they were obedient to that. But they even could have just kind of spread out from there. But they continued to gather in the temple together, gather in this room together. There was this sense that they really wanted to be together. They needed to be together. And I feel like that's the burden I had this week was like, oh, I feel... And you're speaking to the choir a little bit when you tell people you need each other and they're actually meeting
They're
right
actually
then.
doing it.
Yeah. But I just really wanted to share with our church family, like, let's just continue to make this a value because I think, the idea that when you separate yourself, when you start just kind of living the Christian life individually, isolated, I think you just really are susceptible to getting discouraged or attacked.
Yeah, totally. And I think that you can... Okay, there's a couple ways that you can start to think you don't need it because you start to think like, I don't know, I like listening to my own songs that are like my favorite songs, and I'll just like I like to do. I like to lay in my backyard with my headphones in and just like listen to worship music real loud. Yeah, like I love that, and I get to curate my set list like the way I want it, and then it's like like this. Whatever these teachings, I kind of know the book of Acts or whatever, like that might be and stuff like that.
I can listen to any pastor on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can read the smartest theologians on earth talk about the book of Acts. And then and I'm kind of busy. I'm kind of tired, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But you just don't know too, both when you need it, but also when you are needed.
Yes. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. And I think that, I feel like I'm like a lot smarter on the podcast, actually, even though we talk about being dumb, but I feel like on stage, I don't do these little turns of phrase as well.
That's a good, hold that one.
Yeah. Cause you are, like you're needed in people's lives. And even these like journeys or classes that we're thinking of, or even like any class, like the Alpha course or how to read the Bible or whatever, some of these kind of things that we do, sometimes it's like so important to have people there that are really needing the information for themselves. But then there's other times when we really feel it can kind of affirm the information, affirm that learning that's happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate how much we need each other in this Christian life. Yeah. And sometimes it's not even the words you say. And I think I've mentioned this in the podcast. Sometimes it's just looking over, knowing someone to your left, 3 rows up, actually lost their husband last year.
Right.
And they're raising their hands in worship.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, if they can worship God, then, I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's just the example we set for each other is so powerful. The Spirit of God uses that. And sometimes not. Sometimes you show up and you're like, well, even as a pastor, right?
Totally.
You're like, well, okay, we did it. We did church today.
Exactly.
Or we had our small group today.
Yeah.
But I think when you just show up time after time,
Yeah.
there's just some secret sauce that God uses to grow us.
Mm-hmm. I do think it's like the whole meals thing. And so this is an illustration I've given a million times, not a charcoal illustration, but it's the whole thing of like, I don't remember the meal I had 2 weeks ago on Tuesday for lunch, but I still needed that to be alive today.
Yeah.
Like, so that is fueling me, that is feeding me. It's not just I'm being fed when it's like, oh my goodness, those 2 like epic meals I had in the last year or whatever, like, and so I think that it's kind of that way. Now, yeah, some meals are better than others or a greater experience than others and those kind of things. And that's fine to have those better experiences, but it's not like, it shouldn't then like be like, well, I'm just not going to eat anymore.
Right.
And so that, I think that's kind of where I think about it.
I didn't say this too, just, you have to cut so much stuff, but most of the places in our life, we get to choose who we hang around.
Yeah.
In your activities, your hobbies.
That's right. Podcast at calvarylife.org.
But there's certain places economically and just all different types of diversity happen that you can't necessarily pick and choose. And I think church is hopefully one of those places.
Yeah, exactly. And you're willing to like then end up at some table with some people that are like way older, way younger, different like life experiences, different education levels. I think it's like so cool the way that church is a place that you can interact with people like that are very like different. Because you probably like, a lot of times in our friendships, we probably go to people that are more similar to us.
For sure.
At least certain like baseline stuff.
I would even argue in your neighborhood, it's fairly similar in your social economic
exactly
area, because you're living with people that are affording the same amount of rent that you are, or mortgage that you are.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. That's true. All right, so that was a good little reminder and a good moment. Okay. Now, then you talked, what was it that was in 1857?
This guy named Jeremiah Lamphere.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Started a prayer meeting.
That's right, the prayer
Manhattan.
meeting.
Yeah.
Prayer meeting in Manhattan.
It's epic. Look it up sometime.
Yes.
It's really cool.
Okay, we got a serious like moment here that we got to work through. Okay?
Oh yeah, tell me.
So you said you don't know how they did the flyers. Did they have?
I made a little joke. This one bombed too. I was like etched in stone.
Yeah,
like Flintstones.
It was 1857, you said, right? Not 857, right? Printing press was invented what year? Do you know?
It was Tyndale Bible.
It was like
15
Gutenberg
1440.
Century? Yeah, 1440.
Yeah. Oh, you looked it up?
So 417 years we had the printing press before this moment. So that's how they did flyers.
Of course. It was like a tongue-in-cheek joke.
No. It didn't work.
Stone.
That's why it didn't work. Everyone looked at you like, bro, the printing press was invented like 400 years
I was
before
exaggerating a joke. But it's not that far off, because I was in the 8th grade. I was a TA in the office at Scotts Valley Middle School. Go Dolphins. Mm-hmm. And I had to use a mimeograph machine.
Oh, yeah.
And you would like lather like this like paint in this little tray.
Yeah.
Put the tray in, and there'd be like this big spinner. And you'd put the original on that, and you'd spin it. And it would make copies.
It's true.
It was
crazy. That is crazy. It is kind of crazy how much that, like, between 1400 probably to like 1975.
Not a lot changed. Yeah, right.
Exactly, dude. And then like, everything like from 75 to now, it's just like exponential.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what's nuts to me? On my phone, I can hit print of a document, and it goes to my printer in our house.
Yes,
somewhere
dude.
in the airwaves.
Isn't that crazy?
And prints exactly what's on the screen.
I remember
that makes me sound dumb.
fax
I don't know
machine
how that works.
blowing my mind. Like,
it still does.
How does it suck in that piece of paper and then spit it out on the other side? But it's just wild, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that whole, but that whole prayer meeting, growing and growing. Why we talk about that again? No, I don't mean that in a bad way, but was there any, because I remember that being like really cool.
Yeah,
actually, even though I wanted to make fun of you about it.
I was talking about how this infant church is doing a couple of things that are really I think examples for us, and things we could mimic. Is they gathered together, they made that a priority.
Yeah.
They prayed together. They were united in prayer. And so just giving that example of, what happened in New York, this power of people just gathering together in prayer and how it just started this whole movement in New York and even beyond is insane. And so I actually said something that was like, who knows how God will use this, but I'm like, maybe there's a Jeremiah in this room or at this church.
Yeah, I love that so much.
And like, I would love if there's just God raised some people up here at Calvary that are like, I'm going to start a prayer movement at my work or at my school or even here at Calvary. Like, I think sometimes, I'm trying to say this gently, people just look to us to start stuff.
Yep.
And it's like, there's some like responsibility. Like, if you say, I'm going to start a pantry ministry today, I was like, well, we have one, or you need to kind of fall under our guidelines or whatever. But I also just want to give permission to people to like, man, when God puts me in your heart, run.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to have a prayer meeting at your house, or like I love the idea of at your work or an alpha course at your work.
Yeah.
Or like you said, even like join in with the Wednesday prayer meeting and like just be like a super faithful member. And then that means like you're leading it at some point,
Right.
And that's cool. I really like that to see like just what happens with that. And if you're going to wait, I think to kind of do this whole waiting thing, let's wait in prayer.
Yeah. Let's be people of prayer as we wait. Yeah. And then you'd help me too. It's so funny how you'd like look at the scripture, you get stuck in one passage, and earlier in the week, last week, you're like, hey, you're gonna talk about Luke 24, right? When they go to the temple to worship. I was like, yeah, that was written down next. And so sure enough, Luke 24:53 says they went. So after the ascension, so this is the same moment of what's happening here in Acts 12 through 26. They're going to the temple regularly, repeatedly during those 10 days and just praising.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool that they like waited with worship and prayer, and that's just what they did.
Yeah, just the simplicity of devotion to Jesus.
Yeah. And it probably wasn't like 16 hours a day or something that they were worshiping and praying. Like they still just had dinner together and had lunch and probably had to go to work a little bit or whatever, or some sort of something.
Right.
And so it's like they still have their lives even in this moment. But I mean, this is a special 10 days for sure. But we can worship and we can pray within our like lives. Yeah.
As
even
we wait
in the busy world we live in.
Right, for sure. Now, I did skip. So there's an interesting thing here. Maybe the brother-in-law would be fascinated by this. So Luke is the author of Acts, and Luke describes the death of Judas here.
Oh, yeah.
But it's described a little bit differently in the Gospels.
Yeah, I know.
And so I didn't even touch that because I just felt like I didn't have time. It wasn't my main thrust.
Yep.
But have you studied that at all or looked into it?
Not deeply, no, I will say. But just I do know that they're like it does kind of, this Judas one I feel like does kind of show like, because I tend to give Judas, I try to give Judas a little bit of grace. But this passage is like, he doesn't get a lot of grace in this passage.
No.
I mean, because it even says, what does it say at the end of the Judas section? It's something like, and that's why he's always referred to as, or something like that. What is
right?
What's the last line?
Let me find it here.
Yeah. I know you just have it open. That's why if you guys are just listening, Matt has it open. But
yeah, I mean, Peter comments. It's written in the book of Psalms. Let his home become desolate with no one living in it.
Yeah.
Let someone else take his position. So there seems to be Judas deserted us and has gone where he belongs.
That part, where he belongs. Yeah. Where he belongs is gnarly. Because then you're like, oh, he's gone where he belongs. Does that just mean to death? Or does that mean, I guess you could like take that in multiple ways. Because he's gone where he belongs, into the grace-filled arms of the Father.
I know. It's hard to make that argument, huh? Yeah. So if you're not aware, Matthew 27 says that Judas hangs himself, and he actually throws the 30 pieces of silver before that into the basically hands of the Pharisees.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is blood money, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But then in Acts, Luke, so it's not Matthew, it's Luke now, describes it that he actually bought a field with the money, not threw it to the Pharisees, and that he fell head first into this field, in this land, this place, and his body split open, spilling out all his intestines.
Yeah.
It's a good junior high passage right there.
I did think like he could have fallen like off of, being hung.
Yeah.
You know, I think that and he's there hung, and he falls from that.
Yeah.
And spills out. So.
Yeah, and first blush, these feel like contradictory, accounts. But then when you start thinking it through, you're like, oh, this makes sense. Probably what happened was he did throw the money to the Pharisees. The Pharisees wanted nothing to do with this money, so they just bought a field with it. Like, oh, this is Judas's blood money. This is Judas's field. And then, as you said, Judas hung himself from a tree, and then eventually the line broke or something.
Yeah, he falls head first.
Yeah.
His body split open, spilling out all his intestines.
Yeah,
That's so
the
gross.
field of blood.
It's so nasty.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed that the Holy Spirit means we can't cast lots anymore.
Okay, let's jump to that. Yeah. The casting lot thing's weird.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I tried to do some deep dive into how they would do this, and there's not like a ton of evidence of what they did. There is. The Old Testament priests would use like these two, the Urim and Thummim, to kind of make decisions, but it doesn't necessarily say that here. So it was like
a lot of times you talk about the short straw. Yeah. Sometimes it's like you have 5 sticks and one shorter than the other.
It could very possibly be that for sure. But what's cool is, I made this note on Sunday, is that this is the last mention of casting of lots when they're trying to decide who the replacement disciple will be, because the Holy Spirit comes and now gives us discernment that
I did double check that, like on the live
fact finding.
Yeah. I was like, man, he's right on that one. I was like, because I as you listen, I'm kind of like, it'd be cool to just like cast lots about some decision,
like here at Calvary.
I wanted to make a joke about like, okay, what we're gonna do next year for the elder vote is we're gonna have we only need 2 elders, but we're gonna have 4 names.
Oh, and then we'll cast lots for them. Yeah, you should have done that in the benediction.
Yeah, exactly. Have their names and we draw them out. And we're like, oh,
no, it was funny.
Sorry, Tom Shook, you're out.
The day that we decided, or to say we did this passage, was to say that we were voting on our new elders, which is funny. Tom Baylor joked before he got married that he was going to invite like you and I and 2 other pastors up front at his wedding because he liked us all.
Yeah.
And then in real time, he would choose one to officiate the wedding.
Oh, that would be amazing.
The other 3 would just sit down and shave.
That's an amazing idea. I love that. But yeah, so, and it obviously is a good thing. I'm just kidding. But like a good thing that the Holy Spirit gives us wisdom and we can make decisions.
I kind of missed this part, but there was this wasn't just some random gambling moment. This was, they had made the criteria that they had.
That was good.
Actually, I did say that. I'm sorry.
I did that. I heard all that.
I kind of forget. I'm tired. But that they had witnessed Jesus' ministry since his baptism by John. They had, what was the second one? Was, I think they had just seen the crucifixion. No, they'd seen the resurrection.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a third one too.
Man, I don't remember.
They were they had been in since the baptism. They had witnessed his ministry, and then they had also been witnesses of the resurrection.
Oh yeah, been with him since the baptism.
Yeah,
so
it's not a ton of people that qualified, but there's 2 guys that did.
Yeah,
and then their prayer is, God, we believe both these guys are qualified.
Well, yeah,
but we're going to trust you that you know their hearts.
Yep.
And so that's why they cast the lots. Do you think Barsabbas or Justus was bummed? Like, oh man.
Heck yeah, dude. That guy's so bummed.
He's like so close.
What in the world, man? I don't know. He's like, I don't know. Did he like go like start Mormonism or something? I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, I bet he was bummed, but I bet that guy was like a image of humility or something.
For sure.
Yeah, because you don't hear about him having a fit or anything.
Right.
And we do hear some, get ready, like buckle up for some gnarly stuff in the book of Acts.
Yeah.
Like even the Ananias and Sapphira story is like so gnarly. It's so intense when you think about this story.
We just studied it on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like, oh man. So there's like good and bad. Like if that guy had a fit about it, I wonder if it would have been like,
you would have heard about it.
And then he was struck dead into the field of blood.
For sure.
So, but yeah, you had this Tozer quote that was, God does his deepest work in our waiting, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that was good. And you read from 2 Corinthians 4.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So that was, I don't know if you have anything else you'd want to say, or you had any cutting room floor, or just kind of stuff you'd want to.
Yeah, the Judas stuff definitely was cutting room floor. I think too, I think we just want to acknowledge that waiting is hard.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Yeah, it is.
When it's something that's really personal to you, something that you're really longing for, or even really kind of feel like God's promised. And so to wait, I just think the Lord sees you in your waiting, and He's with you in your waiting.
Yep.
So here's some practical things we can do in our waiting. But I think if I could say it, if I could preach this again, I think I would really try to emphasize seeing and with you in that. I think I mentioned it, but I might camp out on that longer. I had somebody come up to me right after the message and just...
I overheard this.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
Keep
just,
on though. Say it.
Like struggling.
Yeah.
And they're waiting.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of hit me, like, oh, yeah, here's the truths that God sees you and your pain of waiting, and God's with you.
What's hard is the things we're promised aren't often the things we're waiting for. And they could, because this was a little bit last week, it was like, these are good things. It's good things that the disciples were wanting from Jesus.
Right.
Like them not being under Roman occupation is a good thing. Like they deserve that. They deserve that more than we deserve
Justice.
Community, or we deserve like to have kids, or we deserve to be healed of our sickness, or we deserve to not have someone that we love die or something. Like those are all things that, like them not being oppressed is like a very good and healthy thing to want. And Jesus is like, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to hear that, but it's probably important for us to hear God saying, like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm with you, like, in that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you while, like, you still hope for that. That's a hope and a longing.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a promise of God.
Yeah.
Like, and so sometimes I think we sort of equate like stuff that we think we want with the promises of God. And because even the promises of God had long waiting, like the whole Abraham and Sarah thing. I know it's like often used, illustration, but that was a promise of God, and it was 25 years of waiting or whatever.
And that's kind of why I wanted to end on that 2 Corinthians passage, because ultimately every longing and hope and desire we have will be fulfilled.
Yeah.
It might not be in these 70 or 53 years, but it's going to be fulfilled in a new way, a fresh way.
Or beyond it's
fulfilled.
fulfilled.
That's probably a better way to say it.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Well done, man. That was great.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Especially with all the crazy week that you had. Wow. All right. Let's get into some emails. So let's, ready for emails? Okay. So emails, let's go back. We started to read one before it got cut off last week.
Yes.
It was a Podbean May update from Greg Angier. And it said, Dear Calvary Life Podcast, based on your recent content and listener habits, you've been reclassified into the religious lullaby podcast category. Great work putting those listeners to sleep. Podbean Insights with 2 G's. Yes. What I kind of wish we could do just now is like that. Boom, just the like theme song would play and it would just end again.
That's what we should totally do. Luke, if you could do that.
No, don't do that. They'll rage
So
against the
this
machine.
part of the email is a joke to a couple weeks ago when it said that our highest volume of listeners is between like 11 p.m. and like 1 a.m.
It was
or
like
something.
1 a.m. Yeah, it was brutal. So yeah, we're putting the people to sleep. So we it's fun. Now then it's the second one is Podbean May rankings, but also written by Craig Angier. Congratulations on ranking 3rd in the religious lullaby category, which is sad. 3rd. How many religious lullabies are there? Yawning for Yahweh and 40 days and 40 naps are within your reach. Podbean Insights.
How does he come up with this stuff?
I don't know. It's insane, though. It's so good. But yeah, that's funny. And we also don't like you. Oh, yeah. And so you had said, because you said on Sunday, we talked about on the podcast about the ascension and like, what was it like? But we didn't.
Oh, because this part got cut off.
It was in response to this next question.
Oh.
From Greg Angier, ascension questions. So we're sorry. We realized
false information.
We actually made Matt Doan a liar on stage.
Wouldn't be the first time.
An accidental liar. All right. So he says, can we talk for a minute about the mechanics of the ascension? How fast do you think Jesus ascended? Were the disciples blown away as he started to go up and then kind of annoyed by how long it took? Was it slow like a balloon floating up? Did he shoot up fast like a rocket? Did the cloud come down low and grab him, or did he go way up into the sky? Oh yeah. And then the third one. Do you think he took a helicopter halfway up? Or not the last one. That's so mean, because that is a cut at me for taking a helicopter partway up the mountain of Everest.
Even just saying that's pretty cool, though. You took a helicopter up Everest.
But that's a good joke, and we're sorry that joke got cut off last week.
That's sad. I don't feel like quite the same magic as it had last week. We were dying laughing.
It struck us fresh because of the we don't read ahead.
Right.
Yeah, but because we were like imagining, did Jesus? You have that like superhero pose with like the one hand down, kind of crouched down, and then just
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, just Superman flying.
Yeah.
Sorry, my sound effects.
That's a good sound effect.
I mean, that would be cool if he did that way, but I don't think it was.
I don't think so either.
I think it was more of like a feet down, standing up. Like looks like that's how I picture it. He looks like he's standing up, and he does one of those weird like Catholic painting like hand signals.
Like the blessing.
That looks like the Boy Scout symbol or whatever. And he just see, nerd again. I'm just like,
it's all good. I think it was sort of fast because the disciples were still staring when he was gone.
Yeah, they're like, oh, where'd he go?
Yeah. If it would have been slow, they might have had time to think about it.
They're like, wait. I wonder if...
Take me with you.
One of them should have... It's kind of a bummer that nobody did, but somebody should have grabbed on and seen what would happen. Like, would you also be going with him, or is this like... Because at some point he like goes... I don't know. He has his like physical body, but then he disappears. His physical body is very confusing to me at this point, too.
Yeah.
Because he's like a little bit like spirit and a little bit physical body. I don't know. I don't totally understand that part.
I feel like...
I know he's like... Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. It feels a little sacrilegious to even like think about it, because it's like, I don't know, he just did it perfectly because he's perfect. But it's like...
Well, yeah, come on. Thinking about it doesn't mean you're like saying it was like imperfectly done.
I guess what I mean by that is like even just guessing the different scenarios just feels like it's inadequate to describe it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, but that's really cool. It's good to think about. And the Bible's not specific about it, so it's good. All right, then Keeley, we got a email from Keeley Hall.
Hall?
Wow, just wow. Hi, Eric and Matt. I was eagerly awaiting the Everest Base Camp recap, and it did not disappoint. Wow, just wow. Oh, I like that. I cringed, not in a bad way, I don't think, at us. I cringed at several descriptions, and am glad to be an armchair traveler and not on the actual slat bridge or pressed up against the mountain, lest a beast of burden push me over the side. Glad you're back safe. I also enjoyed following on Instagram.
That's good.
So yeah, be careful that you don't put yourself between the cliff and the yak.
That sounded crazy.
Here's some feedback and a question. The pod usually drops on Tuesday just before I get off work, so I listen on the way home. I had to watch for the first time the video this past week when I got home to check what you were, quote, showing, which led me to question whether you were also checking for comments and questions on the Facebook. Matt can monitor the Facebook comments, which is a diss at you, which she had a little smiley face there. Later, she did email and say, I meant to say YouTube, not Facebook at that point, actually, because the comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
Also, to Matt, if you haven't already, you absolutely have to watch the live stream of the sermon before to see the blessing and send-off for the Peckhams. That was so beautiful, fitting, and a perfect example of the body of Christ in action. I'm so glad you did that, Eric. I miss them already.
I know.
Love the pod. Yeah, same.
I got a great email from the Peckhams this weekend. They're doing well.
Oh, good.
Snapping themselves in Pennsylvania. But yeah, I heard that was a really cool moment.
It was a nice special moment. It was good. All right. Another email from Keeley Hall.
Yes.
Was that intentional? Because she was probably feeling a little ignored, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, because her email, we did read it last week, but it got cut off. Dear Eric and Matt, so after discussion of your cognitive abilities from Jackie Slater's email and Greg's comment on putting people to sleep, was it intentional that the podcast just ended and Natalie's voice came on, or were you over your time limit? It was actually quite fitting given the discussion.
Let's be honest. Do you think you just pushed a button by accident?
100% promise I did not.
I don't know.
Promise.
You like as you reached over, like your elbow hit it.
There's literally, I don't think there's a button I could do that. Because all these buttons right here are just the like.
Did you sneeze?
These are just this. Oh! It's just like the sound effect buttons. Yeah. So I didn't do. I don't think so. I mean, you never know. I don't know what's actually possible, but we'll see. All right. Another. Oh, this is a serious one. Brother-in-law, Kevin McMurtry. Question for the Brain Trust. Did Adam and Eve have a sin nature before the fall?
No.
Thank you. The text doesn't imply that either God or the serpent compelled them to eat of the tree, and they discussed/deliberated before the action, so they thought about and desired to sin before the action of eating the fruit.
Okay.
So taking into consideration what Jesus said in Matthew 5 about anger and murder and lust and adultery, does the thought/desire to sin count as a sin nature? Or am I thinking about this wrong? Is there a category difference before Adam pre-fall and Adam/us post-fall? So I think, first off, they were created with the ability to choose. I'm going to cough. Shoot.
Yeah. See, that turned off our machine.
Oh, you think it did?
No, we're good.
We're good. We're good.
Still moving.
I know. I could feel like I'm going to have to cough again. I don't want to cough. They had the ability to make decisions, free will, because they clearly had the choice of whether or not to eat of that fruit. Sin. You can tell I'm trying to not cough.
Just get it out of the way.
I know. I don't want to. Okay. So then, but like sin nature, because sin nature came post fall.
Yeah. So God created man and women
without sin
and said they were good, made in his image. So I think that would eliminate the sin nature, because God didn't create sin nature.
Correct.
Sin nature is a result of the original sin.
Yeah.
Which now marks every single person.
They weren't marked as we are marked.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there were a little bit of semantics, but the ability to sin and just having sin in your DNA, in a sense, I think are a little different.
Yeah.
In that way.
I think maybe even
a lot different.
Yeah, exactly. I know you're just like using a turn of phrase there.
Sure.
But yeah. But yeah.
And the whole idea, though, this is so fascinating to me, too, because like the desire to sin, the temptation to sin, when does it cross the line to actual sin? Like, we do know that all sin starts in the heart and the mind. The overflow of the mouth is the heart, is what flows from the heart. The heart overflows the mouth.
You doing okay?
All right. The words are hard for me.
Is it from the overflow of the heart the mouth speaks?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
In other words, like, your actions are always a reflection of what your heart and mind are already contemplating. So, but then Jesus was tempted and was without sin. So where's that line cross between desiring, wanting sinful things and then becoming sin?
Right. I was just trying to, like, the whole, like, deliberating thing, because it's like, I don't know if Adam and Eve deliberated amongst each other.
Didn't seem like it.
The serpent and the woman have a conversation, and then the woman was convinced, and then she gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it too.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's, temptation, deception of the devil, and succumbed to that temptation, but I don't think sin nature.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, the rest of your question's boring, Kevin.
At some level, too, it's like, well, they sinned. It happened.
Yeah.
So the semantics of how that happened aren't as important.
Yeah. And at that point, we do have sin nature, that there is something within it. We are not just born perfect, sinless.
Yeah.
Even if we haven't committed sin, we still have some mark of sin.
Now, this is important, too, because the Mormon doctrine from what I've read, believes when they'll say like, "Oh, Jesus died for your sins." You're like, "Oh, cool. I guess you believe what I believe." But if you get into the nitty gritty of it, the Mormon doctrine says that Jesus died for your original sin, your inherited sin, your sin nature. But your particular personal sins, you have to work off. So I think it's important if you ever have a conversation with a Mormon to have that, like, well, do you believe that Jesus died for all sin? And if they know what they're talking about, their response will be like, no. So that's where you can kind of differentiate. It's a different Jesus.
That's good. Do you know who, like, has been hanging out with Mormons a lot and talking to them about Jesus? It's my daughter Grace.
Oh, cool.
She like, goes and like does all this goes and like hangs out. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah. So she's been kind of like studying up on it and stuff too. Yeah, it's
that's
kind
great.
of cool. All right, man. Do we do it?
I think so.
I'm scared to push stop on the recorder machine.
What do you have? You're up this week. It's Pentecost Sunday.
Dude, yeah, exactly. So Pentecost Sunday. It's a United Sunday.
10 a.m. service.
Family 10 a.m. service with kids, first grade and up, as well as our Spanish speaking brothers and sisters are coming in as well. And it should be good. So I'm working on the talk. I was talking to Trevor Barnes this morning a little bit about this, that it's a hard one because I could probably talk for like 10 hours about this passage or whatever.
Even what we got to,
Yeah. And so it's just like a challenge with how much, like, because just the Holy Spirit in general, the giving of the Holy Spirit, that our bodies are a temple now, the indwelling versus filling, the Old Testament, like, all the ways that this event is actually like a new Exodus, a new new Sinai, a new, because the Shavuot, the Jewish feast that is being celebrated here, which is the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai. There's like so many, like, and I'm probably going to talk about a lot of that, but like, I can't talk a lot about a lot of that, you know?
Even with multi-generations
in the room, I know.
Multicultural.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a big passage with a lot. So we might end up even on the pod, next week, really like hashing out a lot of that. So it should be good. Looking forward to that. It should be great. Like morning too, of just hopefully like a great morning of worship and prayer and like seeing like the Lord work in us. So come expectantly, and that.
We have a worship night that afternoon as well.
Yes, exactly.
Pancakes.
Oh, yeah. Pancakes after the service, then worship night at 4 o'clock.
It's going to be an awesome Sunday.
I know. It's a good day. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend as well.
It is.
Right? Yeah. So Monday's Memorial weekend of next week. So, uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
We're not going to record on Monday.
Don't
say that to people.
We're not recording Monday for sure, but
we got to get a Tuesday in.
We're going to have to get something in the week.
Yeah, this is an important one to cover.
Yeah, exactly. But man, our track record is not great.
We'll get it in, people. We'll get it in.
We'll see. I'm not making any
promises.
Us. You'll learn to wait. All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for listening to the Calvary Life Podcast.
Thanks again for listening to the Calvary Life Podcast. If you'd like to share any of your thoughts, please reach out to us at podcast@calvarylife.org. You can find out more about the show on Instagram @CalvaryLife or on our website at calvarylife.org/podcast.